Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Local Legends. We've got a very special episode for you today. We're sitting down with the owners of Mod Mortgage, one of the fastest growing mortgage brokerages here in Michigan. Yvonne, Jedeon, and Ziad Tamimi are not only business owners, they're also a power couple. In this episode, you'll hear how they transitioned into the mortgage world, how they built their business from the ground up, and what it's really like being married and business partners at the same time. I'm Samir.
And I'm Shadi. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Episode 2 starts right now.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Not a problem. So before we talk about your mortgage business, I kind of want to get into what you guys are doing before you got into mortgages. And I feel like it makes sense to start with Yvonne because you were doing a couple of different things. What were they?
Yeah, I never thought in a million years I would be in mortgages because I was always into beauty and I always thought I'd end up in the beauty industry. Before that, I actually went to college to get a computer science-ish engineering degree, like computer information systems. And I did not like it. So I tried to get a job in it. I just didn't like it at all. I ended up going to beauty, which was my passion. I did lashes for a living. I started a lash business and it was successful, but it wasn't as successful as I hoped it would be because my back gave out and I was like, oh, this is not going to work for me. So I met Ziad and he was in the mortgage industry and it intrigued me. So it was something I could do from anywhere and I could help literally anybody. So that was really cool.
Yeah. If there was one thing, like one of those industries you could go back to, would you go back to any of them or are you happy with this industry that you're in?
I would go back to beauty in a heartbeat.
Really?
I love the beauty industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun. The mortgage industry is like
It's a boring industry.
I don't know.
It's not fun.
It's fun when we're working in it and we get to create our own culture, but the beauty industry it's very creative and I get to express my creativity there. So with mortgages, all like red tape. So
yeah, there's a lot
Red tape,
of red
are you
tape.
enjoying it?
yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying building a business, not necessarily the mortgage part of it, because business is my expertise and mortgage is his expertise. So
Yeah.
I like creating something, and so I get to express that through this business. So yeah.
true.
Yeah. No, Ziad, you weren't doing mortgages to start, right? You were doing cars, was it?
Yeah, I was always in sales, but I started off in car sales at my uncle's dealership. And they taught me a lot of things when it came down to sales. And then, I thought I was like this big sales mogul and I knew everything about everything because I was always top producer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I got offered a job at Rocket Mortgage. It was called Quicken Loans at the time. And they were saying, you'll make 5 figures a month easy. And so I started and quickly I realized that my sales game wasn't as good as I thought it was. It's not just about excitement. It had a lot to do with human psychology and influence and persuasion and when to talk, how to talk, using your pauses. And I definitely learned a lot since then. And it was definitely a big struggle, especially working for companies outside of Quicken Loans at the time because they don't give you as much support. And I had a good run, but there was definitely a lot of learning curves to be learned, if you will, to go through, especially because at Quicken it was just, all they teach you is just influence and persuasion and maybe, guidelines, but they don't teach you the anatomy of how the entire process works. So you step out of that field and it's like you're in a complete black hole.
Yeah.
And you don't know anything about anything because you got other people that are coming at you with all these trigger terms and this terminology, and I'm like, wait, what? What's an escrow holdback? Like, what is that? I've never heard of that before.
Right.
And so I had to relearn a lot of not relearn, but learn a lot of things that I never thought I'd even have to.
So now, was that your last job before you started Mod Mortgage?
No, I've worked. Mod Mortgage is the 8th mortgage company that I've worked at.
Oh,
Yes, I've worked at 8 different mortgage companies, including Mod Mortgage.
now, so before Mod Mortgage, you were working a mortgage company, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was working at a mortgage company. It was actually a brokerage. So Mod Mortgage isn't a lender, they're a brokerage.
Uh-huh.
So what we do is we have connections with lenders and banks and we do all the shopping on the client's behalf. to find them the best rate, find them the lowest fees. And it's like walking into an insurance person's office and they have options from Geico, AAA, State Farm, etc., but for the mortgage side of things.
Okay.
So what I like to say is the travel agent for mortgages.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, like, how did you transition into Mod Mortgage? What got you guys wanting to open Mod Mortgage?
Yeah,
and
whose
make
idea
it a
was
thing?
it?
Like, whose idea was it to make like, oh, why are we doing this? Let's just do it on our own. Whose idea was that?
Hands down, Yvonne. She kept pushing me.
You know?
She kept pushing me. She's like, you need to stop working for somebody else if you want to build these dreams and aspirations. And if you want to get to a point where you need to be or want to be, like you tell me that you want to be, then you need to,
You're not going to get there working for someone else.
exactly.
So he'd never had experience in business. He's always worked for someone else, which there's nothing wrong with working for
Yeah.
people. But now you don't have the skill of building a business that, you have to lose all that time and money trying to figure it out while you're building it. But I did. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I put my business skills with your mortgage skills together and we'll just make a mortgage business?
Yeah.
So he was the mortgage expert. And I was like, dude, we can scale your skills. Like, you are an expert beyond belief. Like, I've never seen anybody so good at selling mortgages than you. And I've known a lot of people at Rocket Mortgage who've sold mortgages. I mean, everybody in the Detroit area does mortgages.
Pretty much.
And nobody's like Ziad. So I was like, if we just make 10 Ziads, imagine
We can clone me.
the scale, the amount of people we can help. I mean, it's incredible. So that's where the idea came from.
Yeah.
So now, is that where you stopped in the beauty industry?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
did.
why you stopped to start
Yes.
and help Ziad and
Well-
yourselves grow?
Yeah. So at first, it was more Ziad's vision and dream than it was mine. And I was just sort of pushing and supporting him because I still had my dreams and aspiration in the beauty industry. But it wasn't until I realized that what I was doing wasn't sustainable because my back was really having issues. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I just go full force in this business with you and we can really scale this thing together? If I put 100% in and you put 100% in, I think it could be huge. So I was like, there's so much more opportunity doing mortgages than there was doing lashes at the time. I had to pivot and it just wasn't going as far as I'd wanted it to at the time. So that's what inspired me to go full force.
So when you guys started, what were some of the challenges that you guys faced? Like, was it hiring process? Was it organization? Like, what was it? would you say?
Everything.
Everything.
Oh my
Everything.
God, that's a crazy question.
Nothing ever went as planned. Not a
Everything
single
was a
thing.
challenge. Every single thing was
Oh.
a challenge.
Now, what was your biggest challenge?
I'll give it to you. So I worked at another brokerage before starting Mod Mortgage. I actually helped start a very large brokerage that's open now today called Woodward Home Loans or Woodward Home Lending, whatever they DBA now. But I was top producer at that company. At first we were just a few people, and we merged, or they merged, and we weren't really talking so much as far as like starting our own company. At first I thought it was going to be a company that was mine and my friends, and then like we never really talked so much about it, right? Like it just, you work and you come in every day in and out, and you don't really talk too much about as far as like the investing or what you're going to do next and things like that. And then just time dragged off, and like it just, I just became an employee rather than a executive or an owner or whatever you want to call it. So then I finally pulled the plug. We've been talking about it. Yvonne kept pushing me to let my supervisor know, or whoever he was. She kept telling me to let him know, like, hey, like you need to tell him, like when are you going to be ready, etc. So one day I just told him, and frankly, I started Mod Mortgage. Like I incorporated the company, but I never did anything with it. So it just sat there. And so I said something to, which he's also a good friend of mine, but I said something that potentially came off as if I was doing something behind his back, which there really was no intention behind that. And again, I just incorporated the company. I didn't do anything with it, right? So anybody can do that. So then I basically got cut loose, and my intention was to just keep working until it was time for me to transition. And so it was also during the time when Yvonne and I were getting married, and there's a whole nother backstory behind that as well. But we basically started this company with only $15,000, and it was $15,000 of unemployment. We had to live off that money, and we also had to start a fucking mortgage company. Excuse my language. We had to start a mortgage company off of $15,000, and so
And live.
and use that money to live. So we had 2 to 2.5 months of expenses, licensing, surety bonds, figuring out technology, figuring out leads, figuring out the structure, again, and living. Let's like rent, food, office, everything. And it was one hell of a rocky road. Like it was,
The hardest part was the start. in
the
short.
hardest part was.
But did you
the start.
expect that though, or no, not really?
Nothing. No, absolutely not.
Expecting none of it.
Absolutely not. I
No.
expected flying unicorns.
You always
So,
downplay
there you
it.
go. That's a good lesson, though. That's a good lesson for everybody.
You always
Everybody.
downplay. You think it's so much easier until you start. You
Yeah,
always
yeah, of
think
course.
there's
Yeah.
gonna be. You always have like this optimism before you start. It's uninformed optimism. You don't know what you're getting yourself into, so you're just so positive about it. And then you get into it, and it's like informed pessimism. So like now I know about it, and now I'm negative because I'm like, shit, nothing's going. Excuse my language. And then I'm like, nothing's going right. What the heck?
Can we
Like,
cuss, or is that
No, this is a cuss-free zone.
is
We
it
try-
a
we
cuss
try
free
not
zone?
to.
Okay,
Try
no
not to.
problem.
I
Okay.
mean,
Um,
express yourself.
be
Express
polite.
yourself.
Okay, I
So
got
yeah,
you.
the start was the
cordial.
hardest because it wasn't the right timing, but I don't think any timing is ever right. I think that once you start, it's always going to be the hardest part because it's figuring everything out.
Yeah.
Probably
Oh,
similar to
100%.
you
You
guys.
think you know everything because you do it every day, but you don't realize what accounting is. You don't know what recruiting is. You don't know what HR
much
is.
different.
Mhm.
You don't know what like
Well, now-
like consumer demand.
Well, here's something. So when you guys, from the time you guys started to the time you guys closed your first deal,
Yeah.
how was that? Like, how did that go? How did that go? How excited were you? And like, how did that change your mindset of it being hard to like, wow, I got this. Like, let's keep
Within
going.
Mod Mortgage, right? Not
Yeah,
like
within
in
Mod. Yeah, of
general.
course,
Okay.
Mod Mortgage. Yeah, your
So I
company.
was fortunate enough to build a pipeline of referrals where I had clients. I had clients that were hitting me up,
Mhm.
but my licensing was just not hitting. Like you can't originate a mortgage, or you can't write any sort of loan if you're not licensed to do it yet.
Yeah.
Which I am licensed, but Mod Mortgage wasn't licensed yet. I had to go through the state and the federal procedures so that way I can get there. And it was really nerve-wracking because if you're not ready, your client is going to go to somebody else if you keep stringing them along. And obviously you're trying to do your best, right? But luckily I was fortunate enough to have a small pipeline of people or clients that I was able to originate. They were under contract on a home, or they were ready to refinance, and they were very loyal to us and myself and Mod Mortgage, and they believed in me because of the testimonials that they've had with other people that I've worked with or they've worked with through me. And so luckily we had about a 70% conversion rate from the people that we had before getting licensed to getting licensed. So obviously it was extremely nerve-wracking before getting all of your ducks in a row. But once it started to pick up, it's like, okay, now I can breathe. Now I can sit down and focus on the bigger picture.
I want to add to that though, because that's not really like the principle of Mod Mortgage, because you know how to write a mortgage.
Yeah.
He knows how to get business. He can get business from anywhere at any company, even at Mod Mortgage. I mean, it wasn't like how long did it take to get a client, because he has clients on hand. He built a book of business.
Yeah.
What the real challenge was, how do we know we're winning? It's if our loan officers are writing loans, because that's how you scale a company. He knows how to write loans, but it
Yeah.
was like we didn't know we were winning unless our mortgage loan officers were actually writing loans themselves. Then once we saw our first loan officer write a loan, I think that's when I felt the feeling of success.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well,
whoa.
See, now I have a question about that too, though. So how long did it take you from starting your business to to hire your first loan officer?
Right away. We had him
Right away?
hired before we even started.
We had a couple people that were
Interested.
ready to go.
Okay.
This is really important because a lot of people start a business and they don't actually like have a plan before they start. And obviously it's never going to be perfect, even if you have a plan, but knowing if your product is good is so important before you start a business. Like,
Yeah.
we had to know, are people even going to want to work for us if we start this company? Like, we're not just going to dump all this money in here and hope people want to work for us.
I frankly, I had a completely, my mindset was completely opposite of what she was saying. Like, she was skeptic in a good way. I wouldn't even say skeptic. She was more realistic, and I was like, no, it's fine. We can find anybody. It's a dime a dozen, and yada yada yada. You know, we can find people because I'm
Yeah.
like, it's easy. You know, I do it all the time. You know, like what I was super.
So she was the one with
optimistic
more
about it.
logic than you.
She was the one with more logic than I was. Yeah,
good thing.
absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
not afraid to
That's a
admit
good
it.
thing.
So I had people on deck before we even started because I'm
Good.
like, if we want to scale this thing, like, people got to believe in us and believe in our product
Yeah.
and our service before we even start. So yeah, we had people right away, and we were just hiring probably every single month. We were finding a hire, and we were very aggressive. So
Yeah, we were.
I can
Yeah.
actually relate to that because when you said that basically your product has to be good before you start selling it, right?
yeah,
So like when I started doing websites, the second I learned how to do websites, I'm like, I want to start a business, right? And so like looking back now, like why I'm looking at like the projects I did before then, I'm like, why would anyone want to buy that website? Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. Like compared to what I have now, it's like way better. But yeah,
yeah. I mean, you have to know that there's demand for your product or service, and if you don't have demand or you haven't even tested it, why would you try to scale it before it's even successful? So we knew Ziad's testimonials; they were great. We know that Ziad had a secret recipe, and I wanted to just cook with it and stir it
Yeah.
up a little bit and
Yeah.
make more cookies out of it.
I think my biggest issue was my biggest learning curve, or at least realization, was just because I know how to do it so well doesn't mean I can teach it.
Right.
That was
That
my
was difficult.
biggest hurdle, my biggest, like, brick wall that I've hit. And I'm like,
I can just imagine teaching somebody to just
yeah, you're
like, how
talking.
hard that'd be.
I mean, it's sales and guidelines, and
Everything.
it's the entire process. Like, there's so much to it.
Right.
There's a sale every little piece in every bit of the way, because you're convincing somebody to do something that they don't want to do every step of the way.
Mhm.
They want to do it, but they're so afraid of doing it. It's a huge purchase. Oh my God, what about this? What's this paperwork? What's
That's-
that? Where do I
yeah.
sign here?
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
are
I
you
mean,
doing?
because with you guys, like what? It's like anywhere from like $100,000 to multi-million dollars. I mean, like
Well, we
Right.
don't go up that high, but we can go as high as 5 million on a loan.
Yeah.
But
Most of our clients are very they're in the middle.
yeah,
honestly.
most of our clients are very very middle class is the majority of the clientele that we have. I mean, we had Jordan Peterson on one of our leads list, but we couldn't convert him.
Yeah.
But we do have a celebrity now. Technically, I don't want to mention any names, but we do have technically a. I don't even know what kind of list celebrity she is, but she's
Maybe C.
a C-list celebrity right
plus.
now.
Mhm.
But
No,
she's
I
putting
mean,
a huge down payment. So it
what I
doesn't
meant
mean-
more is like for for your people that you're teaching, right? Is that what you get? Is that what you meant? Like they're dealing with like a lot of money and like they're nervous.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So like that's what-
100%.
Yeah.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's so much harder to convince somebody to buy something that's $1 million versus convincing them to buy something that's $2.
Yeah. 100%.
It is a completely different sale.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I used to sell of a $1,500 product to women who didn't have any money. I mean, $1,500 to girls who have no money, it's a lot of money, but that's so much different than selling a $500,000 product.
Yeah.
So much different.
yeah.
So yeah, teaching that, I mean, it's been a journey. We're still learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess now that we know how you guys started, kind of walk us through what the day-to-day looks like for Mod Mortgage, like for somebody that's working there. What do you guys do? Do you guys work from home? Do you work in office? What's it like?
And what makes you
Interesting.
different than others?
Yeah.
It's
So, like,
interesting.
Well, right off the bat, what makes us different is that we're remote. We're like one of the only remote mortgage companies I know in our network right now.
Yeah.
Like, in our
Yeah.
city, even state.
I mean-
I don't know anybody who has a remote company around us.
Mhm.
So it's fully remote. You can work from anywhere. I wanted to give people the freedom to work from anywhere because that's what I wanted in a job. If I wanted to work somewhere, I wanted to feel like I have control over my time, my schedule. So we dial, we text, we email, we call people, we do everything it takes to get a sale.
Now, are you asking as far as like how our POV looks, or
Yeah.
how
So like your day to day
loan
and what makes you
officers.
guys different. So like
Okay.
what your day to day like your how now you said you're remote. So like your loan officers,
Yeah.
is it like annoying to communicate via email or
I
whatever
was just
platform
gonna
you guys
say,
use or like stuff like that?
so the pros are that you don't really have to breathe down anyone's neck,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
nobody feels like they're being watched 24/7. But the con to that is if somebody has a simple question, they can't just walk up to you. They have to pick up the phone, IM you, email you, text you, and if you're available, you text back. I mean, those are the cons. But
But the pro to that con
yeah,
is that you can increase productivity because people aren't bothering you 24/7.
correct. At least for me as a leader.
Yeah.
For me as a leader, people aren't really bothering me 24/7 because
Yeah.
typically if we're in office, like, I mean, I remember when we were in office, I mean, people would just barge into the door and they wouldn't even knock, they wouldn't ask, they wouldn't,
Yeah.
like I could be on a multi-million-dollar sales call or like a really, really like private conversation and somebody could just barge in and not really knowing what context is there.
Interrupt.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
just completely
Yeah.
interrupt
Yeah.
and
I would
throw off the
say
jam.
though, the main thing that differentiates Mod Mortgage from the other companies is really the autonomy, because we want to give people the freedom to create their own schedule and, you know, make the sale how they want to make it. We don't have super like strict guidelines here in terms of like how you sell. Like obviously we have a blueprint, but at the end of the day, this is really a place where you can hold your own company within Mod Mortgage. So we've kind of actually changed the structure recently
Yes.
where people are more independent here. So what you can do is bring your own team over to Mod Mortgage. We give you all the information to train your employees. We give you the whole strategy and sales structure to work the calls, work these leads, and you can train your employees however you want. So yeah, we offer.
Yeah. At first we were doing like a really strict schedule, 8 a.m. Right at 8 a.m. we would dial, or even 8:30 at the latest. We'd have a morning meeting, and from 8 a.m. or 8:30 all the way to like lunch, 11 to 12 o'clock, you would be dialing. Come back if you had a pipeline to work on, you'd work on your pipeline, and then once you're done working on your pipeline, you go back to dialing because that's essentially how the role typically is. We tried to minimize meetings, but at the end of the day, we didn't want to breathe down anyone's necks. I didn't want to babysit anybody. She didn't want to babysit anybody. And we're just like, you know what? I'd rather just have people who come in, they know what they're doing, and give them majority of the pay in order for me to be able to sit back, kick my feet up. Not like I want to kick my feet up, but just so that I'm not anxious 24/7 walking in.
Yeah, we want people who can hold their own, basically. We feel inspired by, and not people that we feel like we have to baby 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, what about the client experience? Because I know you worked at like what was it, 9 different mortgage companies?
About 8, but
8?
yeah, close
Yeah.
enough.
So what about the client experience? How is that different than those companies that you worked at?
Frankly, for me, there was no difference. I mean, as far as with Mod Mortgage, I would say it's actually it is a much better experience at Mod Mortgage, actually. So yeah, apparently, actually, there is a difference because with every other company, I had to pass the deal or the loan off to somebody else, and that somebody else doesn't care about my commission check as much as they
Mhm.
do. And you're talking to whoever knows how many different people. I mean, you're probably talking to 5 or 6 plus people at all these other companies, and frankly, not all of those people are doing their jobs properly. So my clients would be calling them. They won't pick up the phone. They call me, and I pick up the phone, but I'm no help other than being a therapist because I'm trying to do whatever it is behind the scenes to try to get that other person, John Doe, to do his job.
Yeah.
So the difference here is I have a whole lot more control as far as client experience. I'm not waiting on somebody to move the assembly line, and I am the assembly line. And there is a lot of integrity throughout the company, whether it's through me, our processor, our loan officer assistants, our loan officers themselves. If anyone's acting out, I mean, they're going to get called out, and we just fix it right then and there.
Yeah, it's a really personal experience here at Mod Mortgage, whereas other big brokerages, they have certain quotas that they have to reach, and there's certain rules that you have to abide by. Whereas here it's really flexible, and we
Yeah.
give you the opportunity to, bring your client through their experience, just you and them, and not pass them off to somebody else and another person. And you know what I mean? Like, you get to hold your client's hand every step of the way. So
Yeah.
it makes the client feel a lot more comfortable doing the mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you get a lot of, customers that are always frustrated, right? What would you say they get wrong about the mortgage process most of the time? Like for the customers, what
Well,
do they usually get wrong about it?
can we ask a question right before that? I mean, we should have asked this before, but can you explain? Like, so a lot of people, some people might not know what a mortgage is.
They
Yeah.
don't even know how to spell
Yeah.
mortgage.
Yeah. So, like, before you answer that question, to you guys, what is a mortgage? Like, how can you explain a mortgage to people that have no idea? And then how, like,
Sure.
like Samir asked, like, following into that.
Sure. I'm probably going to have you repeat your question because
Okay,
somehow I
that's fine.
forgot. But what is a mortgage? Okay, it's just like a mortgage is just like anything else that you buy on finance, but it's on a much bigger scale. There's a lot more steps involved. And say you want to go buy a car at the dealership, but you don't have all the money. Okay, just like anybody that wants to buy a home, they want to buy a home, but they don't have all the money. So you walk in, they consult with you. They make sure that they look at all maybe 4 or 5 pieces of your information. They look at the property to make sure that the property falls within the guidelines and it's not like some house that's inhabitable, right? House has to be habitable. So just like the car has to be running just fine. We look at their credit, we look at their credit scores, and we look at their income, and we look at their assets, money in the bank, or if they're going to get a gift from a donor, etc. And we qualify them again. The same way as if you were going to walk into a dealership and try to get approved for a car loan. And the first step is getting pre-approved. Then it's shopping for a home. Once you find the home, you place an offer. The offer is accepted. Then you inspect the home to make sure the home is not broken, quote unquote, right? Once the home is not broken, quote unquote, and everything is solid, the bones are good, an appraiser comes out to make sure that the value is good so that the bank is not over lending on that property. Once that's completed, we look at the title process. The title company just obviously makes sure that there's no bad blood for that house or no existing liens. And if there are any, they have to be expunged or however you want to call them or taken care of by the time you close. And then once all of those procedures are done, they do one last final like income check. Sometimes they re-pull your credit to make sure you didn't go out and buy a Bentley or something before closing on the home. Our lenders don't do that, by the way, but they recheck your income, make sure that you're still there, and then boom, you're off to closing. You sign, you get the keys, you transfer the money for the down payment, either a check or a wire, and that's it. The house is yours, and you start making payments.
So it's basically you're borrowing money to buy a home.
Yes.
That's what a mortgage is.
Wait,
Yes.
Sorry for cutting Samir's question off, but I mean, to clarify what a mortgage was before we get into
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Some people don't know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, so through the mortgage process that they're going through, what's something they usually get wrong about it?
Everything.
Yeah.
Literally
So
everything.
a lot of times they'll say like, well, I don't think there's no point of even trying. I probably don't even qualify, or my credit score is too low, or I don't even try.
I can't tell you how many times I have people that look on Credit Karma and say, no, my credit's too low. And then I pull their credit and it's like, well, Miss Ma'am and Mr. Sir, your credit is actually just fine. Credit Karma is a free source of information that isn't 100% accurate. It's free, so you have to expect it to not be accurate.
Rough estimate.
Or like a rough estimate. Or let's say some people, especially people that are self-employed that own their own business, they come to me and they're like, yeah, I made $500,000 last year. And I'm like, okay, well, give me your tax return. Let me look at your tax return. I'm like, okay, well, sir, your tax return says that you had $500,000 in sales, but your tax return also says that you have, $10,000 a month in rent expenses. You have employee expenses. You have meals that are written off on there, your mileage, and some of the stuff comes back and helps you. But basically, yeah, they tell me that they made 500,000, but in reality, they made 50,000. So their qualification is completely skewed at that point, and they're not getting what they think they're going to get.
That's a huge one, I feel like, and I really want the audience to understand this. When you have your own business and you want to write off everything, you're claiming nothing on your taxes.
Yeah, talk to me first before you do all
nothing
that.
that the bank can see to be like, okay, you can pay this mortgage if you're making $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of people that come in and they don't show anything.
For example, that music composer, again, I'm not going to say any names, but This guy is he's like an A-list or B-list celebrity for his time, and he helped produce the Nutcracker, the movie The Nutcracker.
Mhm.
And so he needed a little bit of help, and I did whatever I possibly could. Unfortunately, I couldn't help him, but looking at his tax returns, he kept telling me that he made $1 million. I'm like, you didn't pocket $1 million. You made $1 million in sales, but you also wrote off $999,999.99. So technically, you only made a penny. So
Literally.
so
You can't help people like that, you know?
yeah, so I couldn't help him, but now I do have some products that could have potentially actually helped the guy. Maybe not his particular situation, but now after learning more in the broker side of things and not going off of just the cookie cutter way of qualifying
Yeah.
a buyer or a borrower for a home, now I can actually put together a loan product that isn't breaking any rules or laws, but also can properly qualify you in buying a home, even if you show $0 or even negative dollars on your tax returns.
It's not preferable though.
It is not preferable, unfortunately. Yeah, no, it's
So before you thought you were the hotshot salesperson, you ran into some obstacles. And then
absolutely,
you figured them out again to make you the hotshot.
absolutely. So
We're
now I have a
always figuring
completely,
it out.
yeah, you're always gonna hit a wall,
We're
but
always learning something new.
yeah,
But no matter what, you're always the best.
yeah. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I'm a lot more humble now. I'm a lot more
Yeah.
humble now.
Yeah.
I used to think I was the best. I actually used to believe that I was the
Yeah, and
best
then
and
we
nobody
got
could
knocked
take
on
it.
our butts.
Yeah. And now
we're
I'm like,
shoot,
what's the next problem coming? So that I can prepare
am I
for it.
still the best?
That's my mindset now. Instead of what problem or who am I going to crush? It's, what problem am I going to face?
Yeah, that's what we're focused on now, really.
Yeah. Is there like a client story that you have that stands out the most that you're most proud of?
I have a few. There's plenty of times where I had to take over a file. And Shadi, you're in the flooring business,
Mhm.
right? And you know a thing or two. You know how to swing a hammer, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, of course.
So picture this. Let's say somebody is doing a renovation on their basement, right? Contractor ghosts middle or mid job, right?
Oh,
How much of a headache is that to do? I mean, would you even step in at that
big
point?
time. I mean, it all depends. It all depends on the scenario.
So
I mean-
sometimes you can pick up where you left off. Sometimes you have to
Sometimes.
start from scratch,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
100%.
So there's been plenty of times that I'm proud of myself for being able to salvage a situation because I had to pick up the problems of another loan officer
Mhm.
or even another leader at one point in time. I had to pick up their problems and figure out what I had to do in order to make sure this person closes again without poking the bear of compliance. But the one that stands out the most is that very same example, but I was working at a very large mortgage company. I think they're the second or the third largest mortgage company in the country. And I was working with a very, very high profile client. I mean, his house was worth like, I think $10 million. His house was paid off. I mean, just looking at his credit report, he had like $15,000 a month just in auto loans. And the guy owned about 3 companies where he would establish, incorporate, um, build up, sell, and then hold a CEO position. So he would still keep a salary from the company. But the part that I'm most proud of is the fact that this guy was self-employed, and at the time I didn't really know how to read a tax return. And so he was giving me all these documents and I'm just trying to understand them, but I'm also relying on the processor to take the documents and just do her job, essentially, like I talked about earlier. But this gal, I'm not going to mention any names, but this young lady would completely ghost me as, somebody that should be working side by side with her. She would ghost me. She would ghost the client. She would ghost my manager. This process went on for about 6 months. Again, mind you, this guy's a very high profile client, CEO of many different companies. And then he finally, like, this was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was this one tax document that she asked for, and she repeatedly would lose or just not upload the document.
Mhm.
So that's when he was like, all right, listen, it's either you give me the CEO's email of your company or I'm going to find it. Because if anybody was working like this in my company, I need to know about this. He's like, there's nothing wrong with you. You pick up the phone every single time. I have your cell phone number, et cetera, et cetera. But this person is not doing their job. And if you don't give me their phone number, I'm going to find it. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to find it. So, and he did find it. So I got put on an email with with a dude that's a billionaire, by the way, with a B, right? The guy's a billionaire. And he's like, if you don't get this loan done in 2 weeks, Wells Fargo will. I've already contacted Wells Fargo. And if you don't get it done in 2 weeks, shred my documents, et cetera, et cetera. So all hell broke loose. And I had the VP of operations, VP of underwriting, VP of sales, my manager, his boss, just about everybody coming to me trying to figure out what the story was. And luckily, I'm not the most organized guy, right? And even at the time, I was even less organized, but I at least had enough information. And luckily, calls and messages and emails are all recorded. So I was able to basically show my case and say, hey, I did everything I possibly could, right? And lo and behold, we closed within a week and a half to 2 weeks. But if it wasn't for the fact that I was just persistent, even if I didn't have good news to give to my client, I had some news. I was a voice. I was calming him down. I was making him feel like everything is okay when really it wasn't.
And then you care.
I cared about him. That is really the only reason why he stuck with me, or else he could have gone to any other mortgage company and gotten what he needed. He was a paper.
Now, is there like a worse thing? Is there something that you just completely lost?
Drop the ball.
And like, you're like, dang, why did I do that? And did you learn from it and then implement it in ongoing deals?
Yeah.
Like a big time.
Oh yeah. No matter how good you are, you're always going to make really, really, really bad mistakes, even when you are super experienced. Okay. We're human. We're not robots. But for the first 7 years of my career, I did nothing but refinances. I've never done a new purchase. Like somebody buying a home, I've never helped anybody buy a home for the first 7 years of my career. I've only helped people either reduce their interest rate or go from like a 30 to a 15 or 20, et cetera. Or if they wanted to pull cash out of the house to do whatever they wanted to do, whether it's pay off debt, et cetera. So I had this one client who was referred to me by another client that I helped. And they were like, hey, they want to buy a home, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm like, oh yeah, perfect, easy. It's the same thing. It's just, they're just buying a house at that point. Lo and behold, there's way more steps than just the mortgage process. Now there's realtors involved. Now there's outside title companies that you don't typically deal with. And so long story short, I thought the guidelines were the same as far as refinancing and purchasing. And to put it in a nutshell, I basically made somebody homeless. And how I did that, or what happened, what had happened was, again, I thought the guidelines were the same, right? And so there's different like income and asset guidelines that you can use on a refinance that you can't use on a purchase. And so what ended up happening was, I'm like, no, you're good. And everything else was checked off, right? This guy was literally ready to sign at closing. He was living in an apartment, packed all of his bags, got everything in a moving truck, right? And then all of a sudden you can't close. And you can only imagine like the fire that I had to put out, right? The emotions from the buyer side of the buyer side of the real estate transaction, the seller side. I had to talk to the seller themselves. My leader got involved, the client themselves who's going through the most hardship because they're the ones that are homeless. So that was one of my biggest lessons is I made someone homeless because I didn't do the homework and I took it at face value and I just didn't realize, like I took everything I didn't take it with a grain of salt, but I just thought it was going to be the same process when in reality it wasn't.
Yeah, so guidelines are really important in the mortgage industry.
Or just know your guidelines
You
and
really have to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Fine print.
It's
Yes.
no joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once you open one door, there's 5 more doors to open. And whatever door you have to open after that, there's another 5 more doors and so on and so on and so on.
Make sure you open every single one.
So, I mean, you got to make sure you open the right one.
I meant like make sure you open them, see what you got.
Right.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
really have
Yeah.
to read and take the time
Yep.
to
Yeah.
look at what can and can't be done, or else you can go all the way down the path and then realize there's one thing that's stopping you. and that one thing will hold up the entire process. You can't
That's
close.
Samir can relate to that because of web design. How many times have you like tried to do a program and it's not working all because of like one tiny little like comma or like
Yeah.
semicolon?
Oh my gosh.
Like for coding.
They just
Yeah.
threw me back because like 3-4 years ago, before ChatGPT, because now you can just throw all the code in
Right.
ChatGPT, it'll show you the
They'll tell
error.
you the error, yeah.
Like over here, it's like one little small code is off.
Yeah, you
It's
have
like the
to
whole
look for the whole
program
thing.
isn't working, and I'm on Google, and I'm like, what's wrong with what's going on here?
I used
That
to
is
do that too.
exactly the mortgage industry.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
But I think that lesson set the foundation for who he is today because he is so detail oriented.
Yeah.
And he makes sure that all of our loan officers read everything line by line by line
Yeah.
with their own eyes, not
Yeah.
just putting
Yeah.
it, through a document reader.
Yeah.
But he's really keen on that because we
Yeah.
try to even get like document readers too. And he's like, no, you gotta read it
Yeah,
yourself.
you got to look at it yourself. You
Yeah.
better just learn it and do it yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the best way for you to eliminate any errors.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this is a good time to talk about the culture and the sales in the business, how that happens. So, how
and
do you?
why people would rather come to you than anybody else? Like,
Sure.
why would I want to come to you versus like a different brokerage place, like a big time hotshot guy? Why would I rather come to you
Sure.
than anybody else? So all that in one.
Sometimes I'm not always the best person to work with
No.
because I don't like to have any politics in the office. Sometimes I can be a culture killer, and I hate to say it. And thanks to Yvonne for, allowing me to
Saving
realize
the
something
day.
like that. But you aren't just a number on the wall. Like, you really are taking care of. I mean, I've had some of our loan officers that had some help that they needed outside of work, like they're in their personal life, that they've ran into, and I opened my hand with open arms. Like I know and I understand that nothing is ever going to happen as planned, but as far as why you would want to work for Mod Mortgage, it's really just the flexibility and the fact that you're really not going to be told what to do every second of the day. And then on top of that, even if you write 4 to 5 loans in one day, I'm not going to tell you to get back on the phone and dial, which most people will. They don't care how many loans you write. They'll congratulate you. They'll give you a trophy. They'll take you out for a nice dinner or a nice steak. They might even fly you out. But for the amount of money that you just made them, they're still going to tell you to shut up and get back on the phones.
Yeah, they want to make max profit. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so do we, but not at the cost of our employees' mental health. It's
Yeah.
just not worth it to us
Yeah.
because we want to build trust with our employees.
Correct.
And I want to add to you saying you could be a culture killer only because Ziad is a very very hard worker.
Yeah.
And he's about the results. He's not about sitting there and giggling with everybody and trying to make the culture all sweet and fuzzy.
I used to be.
He's very much like, let's get this done right.
Yeah.
Let's do it right. And I don't care
Yeah.
what we have to do to get it done right. So Ziad's going to make sure that the client experience is like A1 from start to finish. And he'll say anything to the employee to get them to
Yeah.
do that.
Actually, it's funny. Me and Samir have a little joke. Like, what are you gonna do? Pack the tools and go home? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
pack the tools and go home.
Yeah.
No, you gotta figure it
Yeah.
out.
Gotta figure it out. Yeah.
Sometimes
So-
you gotta be Irish. What? You can't just pack the tools and go
Yeah.
home.
I'm really
Before.
critical of every step of the sales call. Not to say that I'm perfect, because I'll listen back to my own calls and I'll be like, wow, this is the exact same thing that I tell my loan officers not to do. And here I am doing it. And I recognize those things. I'm not the type of person that's just gonna like sit there and say that I'm not doing anything wrong when in reality I could be or I am. I'd like to take ownership, especially if I see that I'm doing something wrong.
so what is something you guys do to keep your team motivated? Keep them selling and keep them going. What is something you do to keep them like up and motivated and wanting to work again the next day?
We do a lot of incentivizing, but I think the most important thing is that we're there with them every step of the way to let them know that they're not alone in this. And Ziad spends so much time talking to all of his LOs to make sure that, they're doing good and they're informed every step of the way. They're helped every step of the way. I mean, I feel like we just have such a close relationship with all of our LOs that they build the trust in us that everything's going to be okay. We're always motivating. We're always there to reinforce their decision for working here. This is a great place to work, and if you try to go anywhere else, you're probably going to want to come back. And that's happened before.
Yeah.
So
You're going to be overpromised and underdelivered.
yeah. And
many
we
times.
always try to, hold our integrity pretty high, and we're very transparent with everybody. So I think that the fact that our loan officers trust us, they trust everything that comes out of our mouths. If we're like, this isn't going to work, they're like, okay, it's not going to work. If we're like, this is going to work, they're like, okay, this is going to work. So when we motivate them, it's not just gibberish coming out of our mouths. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, Yvonne and Ziad have done it. They told me it's going to work. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to keep going.
Frankly, and I'm just going to cut the BS, because if you want to work as a loan officer, or if you want to be part of anything that has to do with a complicated process, that on its own makes you a lot of money. You solve big problems, you get big paychecks, right? So at the end of the day, the motivation is the money. You're here for a reason. You're here because you need to set your family up. You're here because you need to set yourself up. You're here because your mom and dad maybe didn't properly put together a 401k or IRA or whatever it is, or some sort of retirement plan. And you're that chosen child that might also be a black sheep that has to step in and come in every single day in order to get the paycheck, because that should be your motivation. I personally believe in motivating your team, but I'm not here to coddle you. And I don't believe in coddling, because if I coddle you, and I've done this before, even recently, and I keep catching myself in this trap. As a matter of fact, Yvonne keeps reminding me of this. I am coddling people too much. I'm giving too many favors, and I'm cutting them a little bit too much slack, and not telling them to deal with it, suck it up, and get back in the mud. So you're here for a reason. Roll up your sleeves. There are people out there that have it worse than you. There are people out there that have it better than you. But look at there are more people that probably have it worse than you.
Mhm.
So look up, come in, and don't look at the clock, and just keep going.
Yeah, and the reality of it is, yeah, we do all these things to motivate our employees, and Ziad's totally right about that, but you can only motivate somebody for so long.
Absolutely.
Like, I can't be the main reason that you're here.
The money,
You know
the
what I
money
mean?
alone is enough to motivate you.
Yeah.
I mean, we have people that are making $20,000 to $30,000 paychecks.
There's a lot of opportunity for money in this industry. Huge. And not only that, but you're selling something so rewarding. Like, you're actually helping people change their lives. So that's like the easiest thing to sell.
And you guys are doing cold calling. So how big of a role does that play in your business?
It holds a huge role. It holds a role that it can burn out. You can get really burnt out with cold calling. It can also be really rewarding, because I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody tell me to go off myself, but and then that same person apologized, and we're doing a deal together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I did want to say cold calling really teaches you so much about life.
it makes you question it sometimes too.
It humbles you, and it really teaches you how to self-regulate, because all these people are so high strung. Why are you calling me? Like, F off. We don't want to talk to you. How'd you get my number?
Yeah.
But if the longer you maintain composure, the easier their walls come down. And it really teaches you how to just talk to people in everyday life, and how to control somebody else's emotions. So I actually learned a lot about life, just
Yeah.
cold calling,
Yeah.
and, learning our sales recipe. You can apply it to anything in life. Apply it to getting a girlfriend. Shoot, it
It's
works.
true. It's true. It's true.
It worked on me.
Hold your composure.
Well, now I remember, Yvonne, you didn't want to do cold calling. You were scared to do cold calling.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Now-
scared to do
Oh, I
cold
was
calling.
terrified.
But
Yeah, I
now,
was terrified.
explain to us how that, like you just said that it benefited you.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
face your
100%.
fears, do what you got to do, and you learn from it, and you grow from it.
It's
Yeah.
really not
Yeah.
that bad. The hardest part is just taking that first step, which is just doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the hardest part, because you have so many things going on in your head. Am I going to get cussed out? I'm going to get hung up on. You
Yeah, what
have
if they
all
say
of these
no, I'm
doubts.
scared. Oh my God. And I still actually shake sometimes when I do my cold calls.
Yeah.
So do
But
I.
I still do it.
So do I.
It's kind of exhilarating, actually.
It is.
Now
Yeah,
that you're used to it,
absolutely.
is it fun?
Now that I'm used to it,
Yeah.
I mean, I want to shift the focus, because I know by the time I'm like 45, I'm probably going to have a brain aneurysm at this point, constantly having to feed into adult babies' emotions. You'd be surprised. I mean, I've had a pastor cuss me out, but yeah.
But
Very godly.
see, but this is the
But-
reason why Mod Mortgage is different, because we don't want to build a company off of cold calling. It's part of our company, but it's not our whole company, because I feel like there's no longevity in that. I mean, what are you gonna do? Cold call for 30 years of your
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
and keep chasing that paycheck? We want to build something really sustainable, like long-term business. We want to build basically what Ziad built, which was a book of business.
Yes.
People who refer you clients, referrals who even refer you, sorry, what are they called? Realtors.
Realtors, yeah.
Realtors that refer you clients.
You just asked me real quick. I was literally just gonna ask.
As a
You
matter of
guys work
fact,
with like realtors.
As a matter of fact,
Absolutely.
I have never gotten a referral when I have. I've gotten a few referrals when I was working at big time companies because I was just always fed leads.
Mhm.
But these cold calls are what ramped up my referrals, where I could literally sit back and not dial and still have the phone ring because people are looking for Ziad. And
Yeah.
they're like, hey, you worked with my friend. They had a great experience. We want to work with you. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we want to do this, et
Mhm.
cetera, et
So
cetera.
that's what we're trying to teach. We're
That's
trying
exactly
to
what we're
teach
trying to
people to
teach.
get the most out of these cold calls, not just a deal, but like try to get a long-term deal out of these
Yeah.
calls. Build trust with them, build trust with the realtor, the buyer's agent, seller's agent. You know, he talks
So
to everybody, he
important.
gets everybody involved, and that's how he builds those realtor referrals. He doesn't
Yeah.
have to go out there and have a cup of coffee with a realtor every
No.
single week, you
No.
know?
I mean, these are realtors that are out of state. They're not even here. Like,
Yeah, but they trust the work he does. It's
Yeah.
not just about like being all talk and try to sweet talk a realtor to be partners with
Yeah.
you. It's just like they see the good work that you do and they want to partner with you. It's as simple as it gets.
I vividly remember on Andrea out of Venice, Florida, or somewhere around there. I picked up the phone. Well, actually, not me. It was Anna Marie, an old loan officer that we had that was hired under us, and she basically got the client on the phone. The client had a pain point, which was, my loan officer is doing a bank statement loan right now, and they can't, they're not picking up the phone. It doesn't seem like they're working. I called the guy and I looked into his entire situation. I'm like, listen, man, at the end of the day, I'm either going to tell you that you're going to get this house or you're not going to get this house. But the first step is I need to look at your tax returns. Lo and behold, the loan officer who he was working with before doesn't know how to read a tax return. I found extra income on his return where it helped him qualify for a traditional financing or for traditional financing. And instead of him getting a 7.99, he got a 5.99 with me. So that's a full 2 percentage points, which at the time was really, really competitive. So, and then the realtor calls me and she's real skeptic because obviously she's going through this entire process with the old loan officer of not answering the phone and not really working, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, et cetera. And I took 3 days to look at this guy's tax returns to make sure that this guy 100% qualifies through like carryover losses, et cetera, right? And so I was like, lady, if I tell you that this man qualifies, this man qualifies. I took 2 to 3 days to make sure that this person, that your client's income is good enough to qualify for this mortgage. Can I promise you that we're going to close in 2 weeks from now? No, but I'll do my absolute best. Okay. And at that point, she pulled away. But at the same time, I called the realtor on the seller side, so the realtor that's helping the seller sell the house, calmed them down, the clients themselves, and the buyer's agent. So everybody was informed, and I'm informing everybody every single step of the way. Hey guys, congratulations. We only have we've accomplished these 5 conditions. We have another 5 or 6 more. I'm onto it. Don't worry. Everything's covered. So we only had to extend closing by 1 day. I had 2 weeks to get this thing done. And so with appraisal, with everything else included, starting from scratch, got it done. And since then, she sent us over 15 closed loans since March. And those clients have sent me referrals, all because of the fact that I was able to execute so precisely and without any gaps or without any errors. But it's more so just not over promising. I under promised and over delivered.
Mhm. All right. Well, now we're gonna take a cut real quick. Something happened, right? Joe, what's
One
going
of the
on?
cameras died, but we
The
still have
camera?
these.
Okay. All right.
Is it
The
fine?
ankles.
Yeah,
Keep
that's
going?
fine. Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah. I mean, we're new. We're new. This is trial and error.
All right.
But
I thought you've been
no.
doing this for 10 years.
No, man. Come on. Well, it's sorry.
man.
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody, huh? But
Well, we're live, so I don't know.
No, Samir, do you have anything? Do you have anything you want to add? Like, I mean, like we're trying to keep them short. Remember, so like we are.
I think we
The-
should have. I think we should switch over now, having a little bit of fun, asking some questions. True or
Mhm.
false?
Yeah. Yep.
So let's
yep,
do that.
Yep.
True or false?
True or
True or
false?
True or
false?
false?
Okay, let's
Okay.
do
True or
it.
false, or
Yeah, these are some
what is
myths
it,
that we
dare
hear
or
about.
whatever?
Truth or
Yeah,
dare?
these are
Truth or
some
dare?
myths. Yeah, some myths you hear about the mortgage world, but let's just see if you can answer them. And you're just gonna say true or false and explain your answer. So you need 20% down to buy a home.
False.
False.
If your credit score isn't excellent, you can't get approved for a mortgage.
False.
Renting is always cheaper than owning a home.
False.
Depends.
Ooh.
Oh.
You said always.
Well, yeah, no, he's not wrong.
So
Oh, okay.
it really depends. But that exact statement, renting is always cheaper than
Oh,
owning
right,
a
right,
home,
right,
Mm,
right.
that's false.
Yeah.
Pre-qualification and pre-approval are basically the same thing.
No, false.
What's the difference?
Pre-qualification means you verbally told me your information and you're approved based off of the information that you told me. Pre-approved means you gave me the information and I also looked at your documents and pulled your credit to make sure that everything is actually in line. And now I'm confident to actually issue you a certified pre-approval letter.
And realtors will take you more seriously when you have an actual pre-approval.
You know, yes. And nowadays you have loan officers that are just throwing out pre-approvals all nilly-willy because I can print a pre-approval to anybody and put $20 million on it to Shaddy if I wanted to, or even Yvonne if I wanted to. But am I going to do that? Absolutely not.
Will you do it for me?
No.
That's not right.
Absolutely not. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Student loan debt automatically prevents you from buying a home.
False.
Do you ever hear that at all?
Of course.
Now, okay, so that's a good one. A lot of people have student loan debt. So, like, what could you tell the people that have student loan debt that is false, and they actually can get a loan?
What I'll tell you is 100% false. So let's say I have like $50,000 in student loan debt.
Mhm.
And let's say we're on like a forbearance or whatever I forgot what it was called. It's not a forbearance. It's a program where basically you don't have to pay anything. So when I pull your credit, yeah, I see the debt on there and it says $0 a month is what you owe. But that doesn't mean that an underwriter is going to look at it and you pay $0 a month. They have to factor in a monthly payment depending on what program you're using. So just because you have student loan debt doesn't mean that you're automatically disqualified from buying a home. And just because you have student loan debt that you're not paying on doesn't mean that the underwriter is not going to look at it and say, you know what? No, I still have to hit you for this, because they will.
But
So-
how can it benefit them?
How can student loan debt benefit them?
How can a house benefit somebody with student loan debt?
A house can benefit somebody with student loan debt because if you have, again, let's say $50,000 in the consumer debt, the student loan debt, depending on what product you're going through, I mean, regardless, you're going to have to pay it one way or another. I don't care what administration comes in and says that you forgave it. I've only heard one person in my 11 years of doing this, and mind you, I've talked to probably over 100,000 people. I've only heard of one person that has successfully been able to expunge their student loan debt. But I mean, a house isn't really going to help you with student loan debt, but in student loan debt isn't going to help you buy a house. Debt is always going to be a hurdle, but it's how you manage that hurdle, how you plug and play, and essentially, essentially, I'm the chemist, and what am I going to put together? What type of loan product am I going to put together to ensure that this person qualifies, even if they do have $100,000 in student loan debt? Because even though I have to hit you for that debt, there's programs out there that will let you, they'll still make you hit them for that debt, but not as much as what other programs will hit you with, right?
Yeah.
So can sometimes the interest on a student loan debt be less than interest on a home?
Only if you're under some sort of special program, or if, again, you're on some sort of forbearance that where you're not paying it. Because if you're not required to pay it, then you're essentially, that's zero interest because the payments haven't started. So technically, in that perspective, yes, the rate on a student loan debt is going to be lower, but 99.9% of the time, when it's time to start paying your student loan debt, it's never lower than a mortgage. There's no debt out there, unless you're borrowing from family, that's going to be better than a mortgage debt. So they're all poison. Just pick which one you want to drink.
Okay. 2 more questions.
Fire away.
The lowest interest rate always means the best mortgage deal.
No, false.
A lot of people think that. A lot of people always ask, "Oh, what's the best rate? What's the best rate?"
Well, because that's the only thing that
Yeah.
they can think of, like just, depending on what you define as the best mortgage, because the lower the rate, the higher the fees. So again, pick your poison. So the lower the rate, the higher the fees. The higher the rate, the lower the
Yep.
fees. Sorry, excuse me.
It's true.
So, and sometimes, again, we're the chemists. Sometimes there's a lower rate with lower fees than the higher rate. So a lot of people just don't open up their eyes when it comes down to that. But also, okay, I'm getting this 1.75% 15-year that I did in COVID. Okay, what did I have to do to get that rate? What did I have to do to eventually close? If it took me 3 to 4 months to close, is it really the best mortgage?
Really, the best mortgage is honestly subjective to the client, because you have to
Correct.
understand the client's needs and what it is that they want. Would they prefer a higher monthly payment? Would they prefer a higher down payment? Would they rather take more out of pocket? Would they rather do it, more monthly?
Yeah.
So you have to just figure out your client's needs and their scenario, and you kind of just tailor the numbers to fit them. So lowest interest rate isn't always the best.
That is the best way to put it. It's very subjective.
Yeah.
Just think about it. If you're gonna sell a house, right, but you have a bunch of debt and you need to pull cash out, you have to pay closing costs, right? But you're gonna sell the house within a year, right? So instead, taking the lowest rate would be one of the worst ideas, because essentially you're just stripping your equity, because you'd be rolling in like $10,000 to $15,000 in closing fees. You're not going to be living there long enough to recoup that $15,000 closing cost investment. So most people would actually rather take a higher rate. Most financially savvy clients, they'll take a higher interest rate, a much higher interest rate, to know that they're going to pay $0 in fees, because they're already going to pay 6% plus whatever other fees they're going to pay when selling a home. And they'd rather just do that, so that way they're preparing themselves properly for the next 12 to 18 months.
If I keep having my credit pulled, will my credit score go down?
False. You got to give me some true questions. It's like you knew. It's like
no,
you knew.
that's
That's
like-
that's the point. All these people have these worries, and you're just proving them wrong. False, 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 false.
This is why people should consult with a professional and not try to do the research themselves, because people are so uninformed, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And they'll even come in here and try to tell us what to do.
Yeah,
And they don't
yeah.
even know half what they're doing.
I mean,
So it's not their fault. It's not their fault. There's a lot of information, but
Yeah.
that's why it's really important to have like somebody that you trust doing your mortgage, because like we said, he's the chemist. The LO is the chemist. They're going to put together the numbers to
Yeah.
make sense for you and your specific situation.
Mm.
So don't try to make any money decisions by yourself. Consult with a professional.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, everything other than a mortgage credit pull is going to damage your credit. So there's a little bit more like context to the whole topic, because there's a time frame, and mind you, yeah, you're right, Yvonne. You should consult with a professional. Nowadays, luckily with technology and ChatGPT, most of the information is out there, but that's the baseline information. Even ChatGPT will get guidelines wrong. ChatGPT has been screwing up on how to fix my car for the last week. So so it's not always 100% right. So yeah, you're absolutely correct to consult with a professional, but you have either 14 days or 45 days to pull your credit as many times as you want. You could do it 100 times if you want to. Your credit's going to stay the same. You do it for a car, credit card, student loan, personal loan, whatever. Every time you pull that credit, it's going to ding for anything outside of a mortgage inquiry or real estate inquiry.
I guess now is a good time to transition to the closing topic, which is, so you guys aren't just only business owners and business partners. You guys are also married, right? So
Yeah.
how does that look? Like, how does your life look with being married and business partners? How does it get involved? Like, how do you manage both?
Go ahead, Yvonne. I've been stealing the mic.
Like, does it affect it at all, or a good way, bad way?
I think it's really awesome that we're working towards something and building something together. It's sort of like raising a kid together, you know? Like you learn the same things, you have the same problems, you solve the same problems. It's a great bonding experience. And I
Yeah.
think that if you want to have a partner in business, I think that your spouse is probably the greatest partner to have because you know that you can trust them.
100%.
I wouldn't pick any other partner, like ever. Like there's
Yeah.
not one person I can think of.
Yeah, me neither.
So I think that that's amazing. That's leverage that I have. You know what I mean? Like I know
Yeah.
he's never going to screw me over.
Yeah.
He's my
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah.
And we're
I'd be
both
screwing myself over. if I
yeah. So
didn't,
we're
you know?
we're both fighting for the same thing, and we both are running towards the same target. So I think it's overall a positive experience.
I think so too. I think in the beginning we had absolutely zero problems, even though we had like business problems. It never flowed into our relationship.
Yeah.
It wasn't until there was some things that were changing and like maybe some cultural environments that were changing is where her and I would actually start butting heads for the
Mm.
first time. Because everybody was like, "Oh yeah, how is that working with
Yeah,
your
and we're
spouse?" I'm
like,
like, honestly, it's
"It's
perfect.
fine."
It's great. I love it. But
Yeah.
then, you start facing other obstacles that like
Yeah, they
you
really
never
challenge you.
I mean, I never even would have thought that it would even affect our relationship. Not saying that it did, but we're human. I mean, if you're not going to fight, there's another underlining problem. So whether
Yeah.
you're spouses or not, you're going to fight, you're going to laugh, you're going to win, you're going to lose together. It's just part of the process.
Disagreeing is part of the process.
Yeah.
But yeah, it never really flows into our marriage.
No.
Really. I mean, like I feel
No.
like business is business and relationship is relationship.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to like switch hats with that.
It is really hard to not let business overflow into personal because like I can't tell you how many times, I mean, we're not perfect at splitting that time.
Yeah.
Like we'll be sitting in bed together talking about the business. We'll be waking up in the
Yeah.
morning talking about the business. We woke up
Mm.
this morning talking about the business.
Yeah.
This whole 1.5 hour drive or 1 hour and whatever drive,
Yeah.
hour and 10-minute
Fun.
drive, we were talking about
When
the
we go on
business.
dinner days, we're
When we
talking
go on
about
dinner days, we
business.
talking about the business.
Yeah.
It's literally our baby. So like
Yeah.
it's
That
it's
is like it is part of our personal life too.
the
So
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
it's hard to
I think the one thing that we should probably put into play now that I'm speaking out loud or thinking out loud is we really should dedicate like personal time
Yeah.
as personal time and not
Right.
let the business interfere with that.
Yeah, because our business is our life right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but it's all right. It's doing all right.
Yeah. We
It's
are.
been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you guys see Mod Mortgage 5 years from now?
A multi-million dollar company.
Really?
Yeah,
Is-
absolutely. I think that
We've
we're
been
gonna,
really frugal.
we're
We've
going
been
to be
really
able
frugal.
to help everybody in the United States.
In 5 years
hopefully.
from now, I think everybody, other than maybe New York, as much as I love my New Yorkers, that state is horrible to
Yeah,
get
it's
licensed
pretty
in.
tough.
But 49 states. We'll talk 49.
Yeah, I think that the goal in 5 years is to be able to help as many people as possible.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so now last question. Last question.
Okay. Drum roll, please.
Drum roll. Is I forgot it.
Do you want me to knock some sense into you?
Huh? Yeah,
I got a nice steel
No,
water.
I
bottle
actually
right here
did
if you
forget
want.
it.
did you write it down?
No, I did not.
Did
write
it have to
down.
do with relationship and business or the goals or
No, there was one of them was a target. And that's it. I mean, I guess yeah. I actually did forget it, and
Perfect way
Upset
to
about
close
it.
it off.
perfect way to close it off. You know, we're always having to close. You know,
Sure.
close off. That's funny.
Sure.
We want to keep it. We
Okay.
want to keep it interesting.
Okay.
that was interesting for
Yeah.
sure.
It's
Yeah.
unexpected, that's for sure.
Oh, now,
Now he got it. Now he got it. Right when we were about to get up.
Now,
Okay.
now, give us like a 30-second minute. Like, is it why do people want to come to you? And no, I mean, we already did say
Sure,
that. But I
sure.
mean, like, give us like, I mean, like, if somebody came to you today, is there anything going on? Low interest rates? Is there any like why do you want somebody if somebody to call you right now?
Yeah.
You know,
Refinance. Right
Absolutely.
now.
So are you talking about some sort of like special promotion?
but maybe special promotion.
Okay.
You know why? I mean,
Yeah,
I
why
want
not?
to buy.
So-
a house. I want to buy a house right now. Why am I going to come to you?
Well, okay. First and foremost, I'm going to be as transparent as it can get, like
Mm.
as it can get. Okay.
Mm.
Whether it be what to expect throughout the process, uh, whether this is really going to happen for them or not, whether these changes or whether they're going to see changes after they buy the house or not, which they will, because taxes go up. I think you have an
Yeah.
idea. And I'm flat out going to tell you if you should do this or not, or I'm probably not going to do it. You
Mm.
know, if I see that it's probably going to put you or your family into a bad position or a financial hardship in the future, I'm just simply going to tell you I'm not comfortable in
So
doing
I'll
this
tell you in
alone.
a nutshell what that means. Consult with us, basically.
Yeah.
If you want to make a move, consult. And we'll give you the honest answer if right now is the move or not.
Yeah.
Because everybody's situation's different. You know, rates are getting lower right now. I mean,
They fluctuate every freaking day.
and
Every
it's winter.
time.
It's a great time to buy.
Yeah.
But, you know, everybody's situation's different.
It's a
So
great time to buy with Mod Mortgage.
consult for free with
general.
Mod Mortgage, and we'll give you honest answers and tell you exactly where you need to go and direct you towards your dreams and future aspirations.
But let me just
buying a
include
house.
one more thing real quick,
Go ahead.
because we do, as brokers, we have the best rates on the market. Like we all have access to the same rates, but we don't have a $50,000 office rent, right? Like we don't
Mhm.
pay $50,000 a month in office rent or something like that. So we can afford to give you the best deal possible.
Right.
On top of that, we do also have down payment assistance. And these aren't like,
We have a ton of products.
yeah, this is literally free money. Like you can buy a home as long as you make under a certain amount every month. It's nothing that you need to apply for. The loan itself cannot be more than $350,000. And I think in Michigan and most places you can find a home for $350,000 or less. You get 2% free towards your down payment. So what that means in black and white is, let's say you have a $100,000 property. The minimum down payment is 3%. We can do a 1% down and then also give you $2,000. So on a $300,000 home, that's $6,000 of free money. So think of Santa Claus coming in your chimney without stealing all your cookies and giving you $6,000 towards your down payment of your home. And again, this isn't anything that you have to sign up for, qualify for. If you fall under the income limit, you're good. You got it. And on top of that, our rates are at least a full percentage point or more better. I don't care if you've been working with them for 95 years with your grandma, grandfather. I don't care how much money they have in that account. We're still going to give you a better deal than them.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, you guys want to do all of America right now. What, like, so if somebody were to call you, I mean, instead of wasting people's time, I mean, like, let's say California. Could somebody call you from California? Is there any state, like, do you work majority of the states, or
We do
like,
Florida, we do Florida, Colorado, Michigan. What else do we
North
do?
Carolina.
North Carolina.
And so we also have Texas rolling out, but I really, really want to get into New Jersey.
Mhm.
Again, I really like the straight shooters. I get along with those people really well.
Mhm.
But right now, we really, really want to hone in on our marketing. That's something that we're going to do to try to get people in the door rather than us reaching out to people and trying to get them to realize what hype they're missing out on.
Yeah.
So we're starting off within our community: realtors, insurance agents, tax preparers, attorneys, hell,
Yeah.
mom
So
and
we
dad.
want to build solid roots through all these states before we expand.
yeah, well, good people, best rates, and what, was it 5 states? So if you're in any of those 5 states,
Yeah.
call Mod Mortgage.
4
Yeah.
states.
Easiest,
Or
Right now, 4, but
Smooth-
we got the 5th
smooth
one.
Five.
rolling
We got Texas
process.
rolling out.
Yeah,
Is what
very
I hear.
smooth.
absolutely.
Very smooth, very
Yeah.
transparent. You can trust us 100%.
Hey, I mean, sometimes it's not always smooth. And if it's not, I'm going to flat out tell you, hey, listen, this is going to be a bumpy ride. You want to do it? Yes or no?
Transparent.
Well, that's what makes it smooth.
Transparency.
That's what makes it smooth.
Sure.
You told them
You know what to
that-
expect.
Yeah, you know what to expect, so it makes it smooth.
Yeah. There's no bait and switch around here. We
No,
don't
absolutely
do that.
not. You're fired if you do bait and switch.
You guys have any like social media you want to shout out real quick?
Mod Mortgage. I mean, it's
Mod
Mod
Mortgage
Mortgage, MOD. You know,
loans.
who can get
Yeah.
3 letters wrong, right?
We'll
I think it's
throw
Mod
links in
Right
Mortgage.
there.
here.
Yeah, we'll throw them in there.
We'll
Right.
we'll
Right here,
throw some
Mod
links in the
Mortgage.
bio.
Mod
Yeah, yeah.
Mortgage everywhere.
Check me out on Instagram. I don't really have a big following, but you're going to see me more often.
Yeah.
Yvonne has a really nice follow base on both TikTok and Instagram.
Yvonne KJ on
Low
Instagram.
following.
Z_Tamimi.
Best deals.
Low following, best deals, right?
All right.
High following, worse deals.
Yeah, exactly.
It's called humble.
That's
Yeah.
the one thing I need to work on is just my social media. That's the one thing
I mean,
I
I
would
think
say that I could work on.
a lot of, I mean, I do.
Yeah.
can do
My
it.
social media is.
Yeah. It's 6 feet under. I know.
Yep.
I'm
But I
with you.
mean, we'll get there one time.
Yeah,
We got to
there.
figure it out. And
You
then
got to
we
start now. That's what we
Yeah.
were.
Yep.
That's the realization that we came to is that
Yep.
we got to start now. I got to cut the BS and just start now.
Yep.
Just do it. I don't care
Yeah,
if it's
thank
bad.
you guys for
Exactly.
having us on. I
Yep.
can use these
Yeah.
clips for my social media, hopefully.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Yep,
I
yep.
really, really appreciate your time and
We appreciate you guys. Coming
absolutely.
from Detroit.
So, who's going to be writing the check? You or Samir?
None of us. Thanks for being on here.
I'm not getting
I
paid.
got
Oh,
for
that's fine.
this.
I'll just invoice you. That's no big
That's
deal.
all right. That's fine. That's fine.
Yvonne, Jedeon, Ziad, Tamimi, thank you for coming on. We loved having you on.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
I loved being here.
That is episode 2 for you guys. Stay tuned.
Deuces.
More coming.
Okay.
How was that?
That was really
That was good.
That was long,
That
too.
was good.
I liked it, yeah.
That was good.
You like that?
I love
I
it.
really wish that I could have prepared a little bit better. I got caught
That was
off.
actually really good.
I think we
It
did
was
a good
good.
job.
No, it was good.
I didn't stutter too much.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't say
You did
out.
good, bro. But the camera died, but we still kept going.
Let's go!